What's it like to hang out backstage with Dave Grohl and Reba? Why is Columbus such a hot concert market right now? And who gets our award for Best Concert of the Year? Hello, and welcome to the Columbus Backstage Pass podcast. I'm your host, Dave, the Arena Dude, and I'm giving you a VIP credential, taking you backstage to get the inside scoop on all the biggest concerts and special events happening right here in Columbus. Joining me today, once again, Marketing Mike, part of our marketing team. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing just fine, thank you.
And also joining us is Catherine from our booking department. No alliteration there, Catherine.
None yet, but maybe in the future.
Maybe we rename you Becky. You can be like Becky Booking or something, or you don't look like a Becky. Well, welcome. We are excited to talk to you about, we've been having some hot debates here as we give out our awards for 2022 and look back on all the great stuff still to come. And it's so much stuff to talk about, but let's get right into it. It has been since the three of us got together a couple months ago. It's been pretty crazy with concerts, and one of my favorites definitely was Backstage. Mike, I know you enjoyed that show.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal show. That was one just like my family was texting me all throughout the day of just like, what's going on? I actually got them to subscribe to the live stream that was going on for the show. My dad was texting me, trying to get me to go get him some merch and stuff, but unfortunately that sold out so quickly that was like, all right, sorry, man.
That's good problem to have.
There was, yeah, exactly. That was just an event that came and went like that, I felt like, and it was incredible.
Catherine, what was kind of your role with that show?
So I worked on the booking end of this one, and I know we had plans for this in 2021 that had to be pushed back to 22. So it was just a long time coming for this one, and exciting to see it all to come together, work with their team and do the settlement and the contract and all that jazz. But it was definitely bucket list concert for sure, from the press conference to the show itself. It was just amazing.
It was an amazing day. So cool to see, these full sets from Nine Inch Nails and the Black Keys and the Breeders. I never had seen the Breeders before, but it was just so cool. And Michael, was there any moment as cool as getting to hang out with Dave Grohl during rehearsals?
Oh, no, absolutely not. It was
so.
Like, I kind of peaked at life, I think, at that point. You're sitting there just kind of waiting around, and then all of a sudden you're like, that's Dave Grohl 2 rows ahead of you, also waiting around. And then he went up and did his rehearsal of Funk number 49 with Joe Walsh, and you're like, the show hasn't even started, but you're standing there like jaw dropped.
Yeah, they invited us out to watch a little bit of the sound check as James Gang was rehearsing for the show, and watching, first of all, sitting next to Dave. There were like 5 of us in the arena, and James Gang is reuniting, and then Dave Grohl hops on stage and starts jamming with him, and it was one of those just pinch me moments where I couldn't believe that I was in this industry. We had another one of those at the press conference. Catherine, you mentioned the press conference, media from all over North America in attendance, and so cool. I was standing in that room, and all of a sudden, Trent Reznor walks in, and Dave Grohl and Joe Walsh and the Black Keys and the Breeders, and everybody's in that room. And I realized that, has there ever been a gathering of Ohio rock like this? And I can't think of, I was at the grand opening of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but that was rockers from everywhere. To have such a specific group of Ohio rockers, it was just amazing.
Agreed.
When you are there in the booking department, what are we doing to get Backstage back for future?
You're not the first one to ask me that. It seems like their model right now is kind of going to different cities around the U.S. We've planted the seed. I think they were very happy with Nationwide Arena and everything we had going on there for them that day. But as far as we know, it's going to kind of bounce around to different cities. But you never know. Never say never.
No, I like to think that we're strong contestants for a return.
Absolutely. I wonder if they would do an Ohio thing again, or they probably have to go with a different angle. But it was so cool. That was a
Mm.
special day. Speaking of special days, Michael, I know you were very excited for Reba, and she did not disappoint.
No, not at all. And that was a show we had to reschedule, which just like, there's so many moving elements to that, where when you get to the show day, you're like, what's this going to look like? And once Reba hit the stage, even with her opener, like it was insane of just there was so much energy there. And it looked like it was the original day, and she performed as if like it was going to be one of her last performances. It was incredible. Just because you could tell she felt like she kind of owed it to Columbus in a way. Um, it was thankful back and forth between her and the audience. Just like we're so glad that this moment's happening.
Catherine, take us behind the scenes a little bit when an artist all of a sudden, is sick and they're going to miss a couple dates. It's rare to get somebody who can actually, announce the new date immediately. So what scramble is that like for booking when you get that phone call?
So that one was hours beforehand. So it's kind of a all hands on deck situation. Asked about some dates and about a month out, and originally we didn't know what the dates were for. So we're like, oh, this is very, very last minute request, a month out. And then, we're like, hey, what is this for here? And then we learned that Reba was kind of sick, and then we're like, oh no, good thing we had the dates on the calendar. And we had a Friday night available for her about a month later. But it was all hands on deck trying to kind of scramble and figure out what would make sense there. And I know you guys got the media release before we did get the final confirmation on the date. So a little stressful, but it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, and it's one of the we always obviously want to get the information to fans as soon as possible, but we want to make sure the information's right. We got to get everybody on the same page, and it's no small effort. The way that all came together was great. We obviously had to change openers. Terry Clark had originally been the opener, but was not available for the new date, and so Reba brought in Jody Messina. And Jody, it was so cool. We got to hang out backstage a little bit before the show, and she had been, at home that morning getting her kids off to school. And then she said on stage, she says, and now, this is a crazy moment for me as I went from the mom at home to being the country music star opening for Reba tonight. And you could tell that it was, it was a special night for her. And then after her set, her kids actually had come with her to the show, and they are huge hockey fans. So we actually were able to arrange for Jody to get a little VIP tour of the Blue Jackets locker room with her kids, and do you know what they wanted more than anything else? Hockey tape. They wanted they just wanted some hockey tape, and we were able to take care of them. And Jody was almost in tears to be able to take care of her kids. It meant so much to her. Really, really cool stuff. And Reba, we got to meet Reba before the show, and she's exactly what you think she'd be. So warm and genuine. But when you take a picture with Reba, she's got two assistants that carry, what ring lights are? Those big circle lights that make sure there's no shadows. So we'll call them like TikTok lights or whatever. But she's got assistants who carry those real close to you so that everybody gets a good, nobody gets that shadow double chin, and everybody's looking good. But the coolest move of all, and I can't think of another artist that has done this, is after the show, Reba sent a handwritten thank you note to the arena. Did you see this?
I did, yes.
It was so cool.
So genuine. It was like really special. That's, I've been working here now for about a year, and we haven't received anything from an artist like that before.
It's almost unheard of. The only other artist I knew that did some handwritten thank you notes like that, Taylor Swift, used to do that occasionally. I had a friend who took his daughter backstage to meet Taylor on maybe the Fearless tour, and then about a week later in the mail, his daughter got a handwritten note from Taylor just saying how nice it was to meet you at the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
I want that. It's just, as when, and often it comes from country music artists, which is obviously where Taylor got her start, but they're just so genuine, and they take that extra step, which is so cool. Well, speaking of taking extra steps, we're going to get our steps in this summer because Catherine, you have been busy. We've got a stadium summer like I've never seen before.
We really do. It's really exciting, and it's not just me. I want to give credit to the rest of the team as well.
It's all you, right? So let's talk about that because we have, in a good year, we're happy to have, BCS at the stadium, but this year it's a lot. Run us through everybody who's coming.
Well, we got BCS, as you mentioned, with George Strait and Chris Stapleton. And then that is in May, Memorial Day weekend. And then we go to August. We have Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks on August 5th, which I'm super excited for. That one's going to be amazing. And then we have Motley Crue and Def Leppard on August 8th. And then right after that, we have back-to-back Morgan Wallen, August 11th and August 12th.
Such a huge run of stadium shows. And it's so great to see just the excitement in Columbus for live music. I mean, what two sold out nights back to back at the stadium for Morgan? That's insane. Is that something that that you can kind of hold in advance in anticipation of there being a second date?
Yes. So that was kind of conversation that came about once they started the verified fan process and just realized how popular he was. We knew it would do well. We didn't realize the extent to how well it would do. So once they saw kind of those verified fan numbers, they were like, okay, hold on. Let's see if we can roll into a second date here, get as many fans in the building as we can.
Yeah. And for so many of these shows, we are one of, if not the top selling date, which is so cool to see, right? Columbus is just such a great place for live concerts. Michael, do you remember, as we're recording this last Friday, 5 big shows went on sale? I'm going to challenge you. Can you name all 5 shows? You don't have to tell me the show date, but what were the 5 shows that went on sale last Friday?
We had SZA, Adam Sandler, Shania Twain, Zach Brown Band, and
one of the ones that Catherine just mentioned.
Motley Crue. Yeah, we got Motley Crue. There we go. Okay, there we go. Motley Crue. 5.
It's a lot to keep track of, right?
Pre-sales. It was a week of a lot of social activity. That's for sure.
That SZA show came out like a rocket too. Catherine, what do you attribute that to?
I think she hasn't released an album in 5 years, and her new one just dropped and it debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 200. And I just think she's really popular, right place, right time. And it's really cool because we're opening the tour here in Columbus.
Oh, that's right.
And it's her first ever arena tour. So just awesome to see it sell out.
Very first arena show right here in Columbus. It's going to be a memorable night. As of right now, we're pretty much down to singles. But if you want to come, hey, come get a single ticket. Come see the show, man. You don't want to miss this one.
Oh, God. Yeah, that one, like, you're almost better off kind of going by yourself, I almost think, in a sense of just like you be there for yourself to watch SZA. That because I know me as a SZA fan, like her music means so much to me based on like what her music means to another friend. Like have your own experience, take that singles ticket and like make friends in the audience because you will, because that's what she is as an artist.
I like to go to, because, my wife occasionally does not want to go see Prince for the 8th time in a year, or Springsteen. There were just certain shows that I was like, I'm going to go, and I and my wife was tired of seeing that particular artist, believe it or not, because she's not as crazy about music as I am. But I love going to a concert by myself. I was always like, because I could just go and enjoy it. I mean, it's great when you can share it, but when you go by yourself, you're just kind of sharing it with the whole arena. Catherine, you ever done a show by yourself?
Yeah, I've done a few shows by myself. I actually really like it. Like you said,
it's like going to see a movie by yourself.
Yeah, show up when you want, leave when you want, drink what you want, have a good
because it is all about that shared experience, but it doesn't have to be sharing with somebody you love necessarily. Going to be sharing, singing along with everybody while you're there. We have also an unprecedented busy holiday season, right? Like it is nonstop. I'm taking some days off, but Michael, you're going to work your butt off these next few couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I'll be getting some good overtime in. Just thank God for the holiday season, paying off those Christmas presents.
Yeah, starting
Uh,
off TSO, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Past, and more. Two shows at Nationwide Arena. Catherine, TSO is become a huge holiday tradition, and people don't realize how big it is that they are doing two shows at an arena in the same day to huge crowds.
Yeah, this one we really looked out with the date on this one with the Friday before Christmas, Christmas Eve. Everyone's looking for something to do with their family. A lot of people are off work. So it's selling really well and it's going to be an awesome show.
Then, we followed that up the day after Christmas with WWE Live, the holiday tour. And I think this is so cool because if you have somebody in your family who's a WWE fan, you can give them tickets for Christmas. They can unwrap those under the tree, and then you're going to the show the next day. How fun is that?
So
that's so
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
And WWE is coming there. They'll obviously be back. It's just a great relationship here with Columbus.
And we have the stage or the steel cage match.
Yes.
National championship for that.
Nothing says the holidays like a good steel cage match.
Right.
That's the 26th WWE Live, the holiday tour. Then the 28th, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. My family's favorite holiday tradition here in Columbus. The Harlem Globetrotters are in town. Literally, I do bring my boys. They have come every year since they were little. And now I've got, one in college. He's a sophomore at Ohio State. And we'll still be here. We still come every year. There's, it's just good family fun and some of the same jokes, but we just love it so much. It's just always a good time when the Globetrotters are here at the shop.
So playful and wholesome, just like, and a good game. Like,
yes,
incredible athleticism.
I just always walk out with a giant smile on my face, and I know there'll be a lot of people smiling December 30th here at the shot. Jeff Dunham is coming. Big hot ticket, always big when Jeff is here, and that show's selling really well. Tickets still available, you can grab those. All wrapping up our holiday run with the one and only Dave Chappelle here on New Year's Eve, December 31st. Catherine, you got us working on New Year's Eve.
You're welcome.
Dave Chappelle obviously has been a big part of our community here in the Ohio area. And Michael, even though you've only been here a year, you've gotten to see Dave a couple times already this year at the arenas.
Any comedy tour I feel like we've had at the shot, he just makes a surprise appearance. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to see his full set. Yeah.
Yeah, because he kind of shows up as a special guest. He does 10, 15 minutes, blows the roof off the arena, and I'm so excited to see him come back here for New Year's Eve. Always a lot of fun when Dave comes to town, and excited for that show. Catherine, that is a phone-free show, which is becoming a more common thing.
Yeah, it's a lot more common. We're seeing it almost with every comedian now, I feel like. So we're working with Yonder. You have those little pouches where you put your phone in at the door, and we have unlocking stations throughout the venue if you do need to check your phone. But just for the comedians, for them to, enjoy the show and really be present in the moment, they require it to be phone free.
So many great events coming up. You can grab details on all those shows and ticket information. Sometimes tickets are released a day before the show, sometimes a few hours before the show for those shows that are a little tight on seats. But most shows, there are great seats available right now, and you can grab those details at schottensteincenter.com or nationwidearena.com. With that said, we looked ahead a little bit, but now let's take a moment to look back. We'd like to hand out our 2022 Best of Awards, and maybe favorite is a better term. But we've got some, have been mulling this around. Everybody's got some different answers, or maybe some similar. We'll find out. But let's start off. Let's do the opposite of what the award shows do. Let's start off with our biggest award. Number one, the best show you saw in 2022. Catherine, we'll let you go first.
Well, I want to preface this by saying I really like rap music, so a lot of my answers are rap. I will say that the best show for me was Kendrick Lamar here at the Schottenstein Center back in August. I'm wearing the hoodie right now.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Big steppers.
There you go. Big stepper.
It was amazing. I brought some of my friends here too who are also fans, and he just put on such an incredible show, so artistic. Loved it.
It was an amazing night, and we did kind of go into detail on Catherine's love for that show on our our October episode. If you should hear more from Catherine about how much she loves Kendrick Lamar, but it was a really awesome show. Michael, how about you?
All right, so I mean, Kendrick Lamar was a phenomenal show. Did not put him on my list, just knowing Catherine was going to give him a shout out. I have 3 honorable mentions.
No, hold on. Your
okay, here it is.
No, hold on your honorables until everybody gives their winner.
Okay, fine. Well, then in that case, as you can see, Jurassic Park was going to be my #1 show. As an animal person, I just loved how realistic and lifelike the dinosaurs were. Like, it felt like you had real living beings in the arena for the week as they did their rehearsals and everything. And I was just like, I want to pet it. And I know it's not, it's a puppet, but
they kept saying they had to keep sending out warnings of like, do not post pictures backstage with the dinosaurs. Do not take your picture backstage with the dinosaurs. We must have gotten 20 of those emails that week. And Michael, now we know why.
And I was one of those people. Yeah. Just like
Jurassic World Live Tour was epic. Another show that kicked off their tour here at the Schottenstein Center. Michael, we'll come back for your honorable mentions, but my winner has to go to Sir Elton John. Yes. The farewell Yellow Brick Road tour for many reasons. #1 is I got to sit next to our good buddy, the arena guy, and Gary and I enjoyed that show quite immensely. My son was there with us as well, and the 3 of us sat together and then stayed up in the suite for about an hour after the show, kind of just discussing the concert, because it was, again, our second time hosting that tour at the Schottenstein Center, but it was just a magical night that we weren't sure we'd get to. During the dark days of the pandemic, we didn't know if what the future of our business was, and would we get to see Elton again? And that was magical for so many reasons. Sir Elton John gets my favorite show of 2022. Michael, who are your honorable mentions?
AJR, Camp, Panic at the Disco. Those were my 3 other ones that just mean a lot to me. So I had to mention them.
All 3 of those great shows. Our next award goes to Best Opening Act. So a lot of times people arrive late, they miss an opening act, or sometimes you get a really just mediocre opening act, right? But a lot of times, sometimes you see somebody and you get a chance to become a big fan of them. So would like to hear who surprised you. Who was your favorite opening act of 2022? Catherine?
I have 2 here.
Yeah.
But I'll
let you have 2.
All right. First one I gotta say is Vince Staples opening up for Tyler the Creator here at the Shot back in February. I saw Vince in 2019 at Newport, so seeing him take that to the arena level was really sweet. And then my second one is going to be Marina opening up for Panic at the Disco. And I like Marina in high school when she used to like Marina and the Diamonds. Yeah. So when I saw her added to the Panic bill, I thought it was so exciting. I'd never seen, haven't
like mind blown.
Yeah. And
okay, cool.
She did a really good show. So those are my top 2.
Mike Muffler?
All right. Jake Wesley Roger was my top pick for best opener, who came from Panic at the Disco's Viva La Vengeance tour, right behind Marina, right before, actually.
Yeah.
He just had this Elton John, David Bowie kind of aesthetic to him, where I was just like, in a few years, like, you're gonna have 2 or 3 albums out that everyone's going to be listening to. He had an energy and a stage presence for sure.
Michael, here, you probably stole my answer because I was so blown away by his set. It's funny, we must have really loved the openers in that Panic show, right?
Yeah.
Since we were all picking that one. But I loved it so much that I actually bought tickets to see Jake Wesley Rogers. He's coming to the A&R Music Bar. Give them a plug.
Nice.
He's doing a little show over there. But loved his set, and I bought tickets, so looking forward to that coming up.
I didn't
So
even know he was there, so I'll have to look into those. Hopefully they're not sold out yet.
So I'll give my award to somebody different. I'll do Stephen Page from Bare Naked Ladies. He opened up with a couple of other guys as the Stephen Page trio. Opened up for the Who. So to hear the lead singer of Bare Naked Ladies without the rest of the ladies, but he left the band several years back. And but to hear him opening up for the Who was such a weird choice, but it was so awesome, and he was so good. And the trio did a nice job. Big fan of Stephen Page. Gets my vote for best opening act. So one of the other awards I wanted to talk about was the concert that surprised you the most. So what show did you see that maybe you weren't expecting to be so great, or somebody that you had no idea about that you were like, whoa? What was your most surprising concert? Michael, we'll let you start this round.
Okay. Ben Platt would be my answer for that one. Everyone thinks of him as a theatrical performer, but he did have a great arena presence and energy that filled the whole place. Ben Platt, I thought, was incredible, especially with his openers, Allie and AJ.
That was a really fun show, and Allie and
Yeah,
AJ
it
were
was.
very, very cool.
You just felt good about yourself leaving. Like my spirits were raised.
Very cool. Catherine?
I'm gonna have to say Camp. I knew it was gonna be a cool show because it was their first arena play and they're local here. But they blew me away. They were so talented. I love that they were jamming out on stage. It just looked like they were having a really good time together, really like soaking in the moment. So I love that show. Definitely surprised me.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just a kind of magical night at the arena, seeing those guys do their first arena show and great stuff. The show that surprised me the most, I think, was Dua Lipa. It was almost my best show of the year. Almost got my award because that was just a pure pop spectacle. And sometimes an artist gets to the arena level and you're like, oh, I can see that in a couple of years, they will be really have that power to really captivate an arena. And she was already there. She commanded the attention. It was just so amazing. It was an awesome pop spectacle, among the best I've seen. And Dua Lipa, absolutely amazing show. Was a big fan of that night.
Great answer. Yeah. I had only been working for like 2 weeks there. I'm like, oh my God, Dua Lipa.
Well, we love working at the Shot and Nationwide and Ohio Stadium and Mershon Auditorium. We keep them busy throughout the year, but we all love live music. So what is the best show that you saw somewhere else? Right. So maybe you saw a band in a little club here in Columbus. Maybe you were out of town. What is the best show you saw not at one of our own venues? Catherine?
I also have two for this one. I'm gonna have to say Laney. They're one of my favorite bands. I saw them this summer in Cincinnati at the Icon Festival stage and put on a really good show. I've seen them now 3 or 4 times, but they didn't come to Columbus on this run. So I made the trip down to Cincinnati and just cool vibes, like indie pop. So I really like that one. And then this past Friday, I went down to Newport, Kentucky to the Megacorp Pavilion to see the 1975, who's been one of my favorite bands since I was like 16 years old. So really cool to see them. They played their new album in full, like front to back, which was awesome, and then played some of their greatest hits as well. So really like that one. Probably my 2 top favorite of the year.
Very nice. Michael?
Mine would be Florence and the Machine at Pine Knob in Michigan, which was an amphitheater, which was also like kind of interesting to have fully integrated myself into an arena setting mindset, and then to see a show in an amphitheater where you're like, oh, things are so different here.
Yeah, it's a whole different kind of vibe, and I've heard she puts on a great show.
Phenomenal. Yeah, she was incredible.
I've actually got 2 for this category. One here locally at the Roomba Cafe. Get to see the Rebirth Brass Band, which is they're out of New Orleans, and just a funky New Orleans kind of jazz band that is so high energy, really, very tiny room, and my ears are still recovering. But it was a fun night and a great local band, the Largemouth Bass Band, Largemouth Bass Band. Anyway, they were really good too. They opened up, and it was a really fun night. Also, when I was in Seattle, I got to see what my favorite new band of 2022 at a place called the Showbox. It's a little tiny club just outside of the market there downtown. But Sammy Ray and the Friends, who you probably never heard of, but definitely I discovered them on Spotify, became a huge fan, and they were playing when I was out in Seattle for a work trip, and just absolutely one of the best live shows. So much fun. Recommend checking them out on Spotify if you haven't heard about them yet. Let's talk about innovations. We talked about bands that kind of new to the scene, or bands that. But what artist or show had an innovation that you really enjoyed? This was a last minute idea from Michael. So Michael, I will let you share yours.
Thanks. Yeah. For me, I would have to say Justin Bieber. For his show, on top of his incredible choreography and vocals for the show, and I mean production, he has everything to a Justin Bieber show. Drones were something that I thought were so unique
Yeah,
that
he
I
had
have
drones
not
inside the
seen
arena as part of
added.
the show, right?
Have not seen added to any other show. And it was just incredible. I'm trying to take photos on my phone that they didn't really fully turn out, but in person, it looked so cool watching technology dance alongside your main act. It was incredible.
Catherine, put you on a spot here. Anybody do something at a show that you thought was particularly innovative?
I'm glad you picked me second. This is a new one for me. I think Tyler, the Creator, to go back to him, he had his boat here and he rode the boat while he was rapping through the audience, which I thought that was pretty sweet.
And the audience was the waves, basically. Yeah. I think that was what they were going for with that, and you could tell, especially from upper deck.
It was sweet.
Yeah,
that was a very cool show to be part of. Michael, I'll agree with you on one of your earlier mentions, AJR. I thought their incorporation and the way that they used their video screens as part of their show was really innovative. They had some very cool special effects that would sometimes duplicate or make 5 versions of the lead singer, and you couldn't tell which one was him and which one were the video recreations. And it was just, they really maximized the technology and made it part of the experience.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor and YouTube 3 a.m. Things by AJR live.
Yeah, that's good. Very appropriate. That's exactly the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Worth checking out for sure. All right.
I watch it every other week.
To wrap things up, give me, I know it's hard to pick because we have so many amazing shows coming up, but give me the one show you're most excited for in 2023. So what one show? You got to only pick one, because we've all got like 8 runner-ups on this one. But Catherine, give me your top show that you're looking forward to in 23.
I got to go with Bruce Springsteen on March 9th at Nationwide Arena. That is bucket list for me. Grew up listening to Springsteen, never seen him. So definitely looking forward to that one.
Yes, Springsteen with the E Street Band is just a magical bucket list concert experience that everybody should get to do at least once. And that's going to be a very, very special night. Michael?
I will, just adding to what Catherine said of Bruce Springsteen, of just listening to the holiday music with him now, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait for that show. But for me personally, the band that I'm looking forward to is in June for Paramore. They always end up on my Spotify top artist list every year. And so for that show, I'm just not rushing time, but I'm rushing time a little bit. June couldn't get here soon enough.
Well, I'm excited for both of those shows for sure. Mine, I've really got 2, and I don't only pick up one, but I know I'm breaking my own rules. Billy Joel, Stevie Nicks, right? I mean, Billy has not been in Columbus in over a decade, and to see him at the stadium is going to be such a special treat that I just can't wait. see that show. But I'm going to sneak in one more, because also at the stadium, Catherine, you mentioned it at the top of our show, Motley Crue and Def Leppard with special guest Alice Cooper. I just know how much fun I'm gonna have at that show. I cannot wait to get my 80s rock on with Motley Crue and Def Leppard. I'm showing my age there, but I just know how much I just will love that greasy double bacon cheeseburger of a show. It's everything I love. And it may be bad for me, but I'm gonna eat every bite of it. I just can't wait. Cannot wait. So many. Thank you for joining us for our best of awards here as we look back. I look forward to lots of good stuff. Our next episode, we'll kind of take a detailed look at all the shows coming in 2023. We'll do that in early January. Hope everyone has a very happy holidays. But thanks to Michael and Catherine, you guys both making the time to join us in this busy holiday season as we wrap up the year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look forward to seeing everyone in 2023.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Thanks to everyone for listening to this episode of the Columbus Backstage Pass podcast. Yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff, because when you do and you give us a nice 5-star review, it does help others find us and hear about all the great shows happening in Columbus. And when people know about the great shows, they buy tickets. And the more tickets that Columbus sells, the more great shows that come. It's just that easy. So I'm Dave the Arena Dude. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.